Hi students, today we are going to start the chapter How do organisms reproduce? Reproduction. Reproduction is the process by which living organisms produce new individuals similar to themselves. Reproduction ensures continuity of life on earth. Nucleus of the cell contains DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, which is the hereditary material. In some viruses, as you know, RNA or ribonucleic acid is the genetic material. The DNA replicates and forms new cells causing variation. So these new cells will be similar but may not be identical to original cell. Variations are useful for the survival of the individual and species over time as well as basis for evolution. Types of reproduction. There are mainly two types of reproductions are there, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, a single individual give rise to new individual. Here in asexual reproduction, gametes are not formed. The new individual produced is identical to parent, and it is extremely useful as a mean of rapid multiplication. And this mode of reproduction is adopted by lower organisms. Sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, two individuals, that is one male and one female, are needed to give rise to new individual or to produce new individual or young one. Here gametes are formed in sexual reproduction and the new individual is genetically similar but not identical to parents. It is useful to generate more variations in species. And this mode of reproduction, that is sexual mode of reproduction, is adopted by higher organisms. Now we are going to discuss about modes of asexual reproduction or types of asexual reproduction. The first type or first mode of asexual reproduction is fission. In fission, a parent cell divides into two daughter cells or into two or many. Fission means the parent cell divides into daughter cells. Fission is of mainly two types, binary fission and multiple fission. In binary fission, from one cell, two daughter cells are formed. For example, in amoeba, that you know, the binary fission in amoeba. Multiple fission. In multiple fission, many cells are formed from one single cell. For example, plasmodium. Plasmodium, what is plasmodium? Plasmodium is one protozoan, or plasmodium is the malarial parasite, that is the plasmodium. It's a protozoan. Here you can see binary fission in amoeba. Here one amoeba. Here one constriction is formed in its body and that groove is developing into the center part of it, and later that one single cell or one amoeba, it will divide into two cells or two daughter amoeba, that is two daughter cells are produced. This we can call it as binary fission in amoeba. Fission means the parent cell divides into daughter cells. Here two daughter cells are formed, that's why we can call it as binary fission. Next mode of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. This mode you are very familiar, you learned it in 7th standard itself. Here the organism breaks up into smaller pieces upon maturation. One piece develops into new individual. For example, in Spirogyra, as you know, Spirogyra is one algae. Here Spirogyra is showing which mode of asexual reproduction? Fragmentation. Fragmentation in Spirogyra. Here you can see that one fragment, if it divides into two, or one Spirogera fragment or that on algae, it is on filamentous algae. If it breaks up into two pieces or it breaks into two pieces, the two pieces will grow into individual algae. The third mode of asexual reproduction is regeneration. If an organism is cut or broken into many pieces, each piece grows into a complete organism. That mode of asexual reproduction is called regeneration. Example, Planaria and in Hydra. Planaria and Hydra are showing regeneration. Which mode of reproduction they are showing? Regeneration. Regeneration in Planaria. The first diagram is regeneration in Planaria. Here you can see that the Planaria, here one organism that divides into three parts and each part later develops into one individual organism. Here three organisms or three Planarias are produced. Like that, the second diagram you can see here Hydra. Here Hydra, it also when it is cut or broken into pieces. Here three pieces are there and that individual pieces will develop into one entire organism. This mode of reproduction is called regeneration. Now we discussed fission, fragmentation, and the third one we discussed now is regeneration. Next, fourth mode of asexual reproduction. Fourth mode of asexual reproduction here is budding. A bud is formed which develops into small or tiny individual. Okay, one small bud is formed or one bulging is formed on an individual organism. Later, it enlarges and it detaches from parent body upon maturation and develops into new individual. That mode of asexual reproduction is called budding and it is seen in Hydra. Here you can see budding in Hydra. Here one small bud is developed. Here you can see and now it enlarges and later after maturation it will separate from the organism or that main body and it will separately grow into another individual organism, another organism. As we already discussed that Hydra is showing regeneration and also now we are discussing that budding. That mode of asexual reproduction is also shown by Hydra. Next mode of asexual reproduction we can that is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation also here only one parent is involved and no gametes are formed. That's why we can consider it as asexual reproduction. In many plants, new plants develops from vegetative parts. Okay, what are the vegetative parts of a plant? That is root, stem and leaf. These three parts, these are called as vegetative parts of a plant. And some plants such as dahlias and sweet potato here, the new plants are produced from their root. And in some other plants such as potato and ginger, new plants develop from their stem. And in some plants such as bryophyllum, from the leaf notches. There are small buds are the leaf buds are there. That leaf buds later will develop into one in plant that will develop into one plant. In all these cases, we can consider it as vegetative propagation because the new plants are produced from one of the vegetative part of the plant such as root, leaf or stem. Okay, that is vegetative propagation. New plants develop from vegetative parts such as root, stem and leaf. Next, some artificial methods are there. Artificial methods of vegetative propagations are there. The one is grafting. Grafting. That method is used mainly in mango and many other fruit plants. It is used in many other fruit plants. That artificial method of vegetative propagation is used, that is grafting. Next, you are familiar, that is cutting, stem cutting, that is used in many ornamental plants such as rose and many other plants. And next, yes, there it is that is, that word is missing, that is layering. That is, third one is layering, 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 layering. That is one artificial method of vegetative propagation that is used mainly for the propagation of jasmine plant. Okay, now we discuss mainly vegetative propagation. We discussed naturally the vegetative parts of the plant include root, stem and leaf. From that part also we can develop individual plant or new plants are developed from that plant. That is natural vegetative propagation method. Then we discussed about artificial methods such as grafting, cutting and layering. Now we are going to discuss tissue culture. That is also considered under vegetative propagation, because here from the vegetative part of the plant, we can produce a number of plants at a time. That's why from the vegetative part a number of plants are produced. That's why we can consider it as a type of vegetative propagation only. Here new plants are grown by using growing tip of a plant. These growing cells are kept in a culture medium that leads to the formation of callus. Callus is then transferred to hormone medium, which causes growth and differentiation. Tissue culture means even when one small piece of one leaf, we can use it for tissue culture, or we can use on apical meristem of one plant, or on flower bud. From that we can take on anther also, we can use it for tissue culture. From all these parts we can develop a number of plants from that small piece of plant body. This mode of vegetative propagation we can call it as tissue culture. Here when we take that small piece of plant, when we place it in nutrient medium in laboratory conditions, when we are doing it, it will multiply there. That is, the cell will multiply there. A group of cells are formed there. That group of undifferentiated cells, that is called callus. Callus means a group of undifferentiated cells. Group of undifferentiated cells, we can call it as callus. That callus produced from that plant part, that may be one small part of leaf. That plant part we used it to produce callus, we can call it as explant. Explant, explant. From the explant callus or on group of cell that is undifferentiated, we cannot differentiate that callus into leaf, root or stem, that we cannot identify in it. That's why we are calling it as callus, that is undifferentiated mass of cells. Okay. That callus is then transferred to hormone medium. Different hormone mediums are available for plant growth. When we transfer it to one particular medium, from the callus roots are developed. If we transfer it to another medium, then the shoots will develop. Like that, different plant hormones are there. When we combine or when we mix it in different proportion, that will lead to the development of root or shoot. Okay. The callus is then transferred to hormone medium, which causes growth and differentiation. Differentiation means then later the root, shoot and leaves are produced in it after giving proper hormones to the medium. This tissue culture method is adopted or it is used in ornamental plants. To produce a number of ornamental plants in a short period, we can use tissue culture. And it is used in orchids also. Orchid means orchid is a plant. It is producing seeds, but the seeds are not viable. That is, the seeds cannot germinate. Naturally, it cannot germinate. In such cases, we can use tissue culture to produce similar type of plants. A number of plants we can produce within a short period of time by adopting the vegetative propagation method, we can say anyway. That is tissue culture. What are the benefits of tissue culture? We can grow plants like banana, rose, jasmine, etc. That you know that. No seeds are produced in such plants. Even in banana also when we see some black spots are there, that is considered as its seed. But that seeds we cannot use it to sow and we cannot develop new banana plant from it, right? Like that rose. And in jasmine also we cannot find any viable seed in such plants. In such cases we can take one stem apical meristem part or one leaf part and we can tissue culture that plant part and we can produce similar type of one rose plant. It is having nice but yellow colored flowers. Okay, that yellow color or a particular colored rose plant, if we want to produce a number of rose plants like the exact copies of that plant, we can adopt which method? Tissue culture method. Okay, that is we can grow plants that have lost the capacity to produce seeds, or in that plant that is entirely viable seeds are not produced. In such plants we can use which method? Tissue culture. The next is new plants are genetically similar to parents. Okay, if you have one plant that's a nice flowering plant, okay, nice flowering plant or on fruit producing or fruiting plant or any fruit plant. Okay, if its yield is very good and we wish to produce exact copy of that plant. Okay, during sexual reproduction, through sexual reproduction, we are producing the seed. From that seed, if we are trying to produce or we are developing new plant, it will obviously show variations. To avoid such variations during sexual reproduction, we can use this method. Which method? Tissue culture. If we want to produce genetically similar plants or exact copies of their parent, if we want to produce, we can adopt which method? Tissue culture. And it helps in growing seedless fruits. Okay, in some nowadays the fruits such as grapes and oranges, we cannot find any seed in it. That is, they all are seedless fruits. That is produced by a method that we will learn later. Parthenocarpy. Seedless fruits are produced by that. And if there are already seedless varieties are produced in a particular plant, we can maintain that character. We can maintain that particular characteristic in that plant by adopting tissue culture. If you are producing a number of such plants through tissue culture, it will help us in avoiding that variation produced by sexual reproduction. Right? Now we discussed vegetative propagation by the vegetative parts, natural vegetative reproduction, then artificial methods, and we discussed about tissue culture and the benefits of tissue culture. From the beginning, the modes of asexual reproduction we discussed: fission, fragmentation, regeneration, budding, vegetative reproduction. Now next is spore formation, that you are very familiar. In your 7th standard you learned about it. Spores are small bulb-like structures which are covered by thick walls. Under favorable conditions, these spores germinate and produce new organism. Okay, these spores can withstand unfavorable condition because they are having a thick wall. It will survive the unfavorable condition, and later when the favorable conditions are there, at that time the spores germinate to produce new organism. Here you can see this one, you are very familiar with it. This is bread mold or rhizopus. Here you can see the spores are produced in sporangium or the fruiting body. And here the stalk of that fruiting body is there, that we can call it as sporangiophores. Sporangium is produced in the stalk-like structure, that is called sporangiophores. That is in hypha. Hypha means the plant body of that thread-like structures of that fungus, we can call it as hypha. Single thread-like structure is called hypha, and group of hypha we can call it as mycelium. Okay, here it is attached by rhizoids, you can see, and sporangiophores or erect hypha is there, and the sporangium or fruiting bodies are there. Sporangium or fruiting body are there, and after maturation, after a particular period of time, the sporangium will break and it will burst open and it will release the spores, and the spores are carried by wind. and the spores will fall some other place, and there it will germinate to form new fungus. It is a mode of reproduction mainly shown by funguses. Spore formation. Okay, hope you understood the concept. Thank you.